There are some movies that hold up a perfect mirror to the society and the times that they were made in, and shows, whether good or bad, an exact reflection of that time period. And one of the movies that does this, that is criminally underrated, is Josie and the Pussycats. Josie and the Pussycats is the best movie of all time. It is a perfect capture of what society and the culture was like in early 2001, in the time that it was made. So I'm going to try to explain the context in which the movie came out, because it's really important, because it's supposed to be a reflection of the times, right? So in 2001, there's a lot of stuff that people would consider like stupid. Now people wouldn't put up with a lot of stuff that happened right at the turn of the millennium. So now I feel like consumers care about the company, what the company's doing. There's kind of an aversion to massive corporations. Corporations hide the fact, like Mars owns a bunch of stuff, right? A bunch of brands that we use all the time, but they don't advertise that. Consumers now care more about what the company's doing. So if you just watched the Super Bowl, a lot of the ads there were like more heartfelt, more about how the company is benefiting society and not just making a product. Ads now are also more personal. Like a YouTuber that you watch all the time, you watch them every week, you feel like you know them. They'll be like, hey, buy this diarrhea tea. And you're like, okay, sure. Because you feel like you trust them. So they're more personal. It's not the company telling you directly to buy their shit. So in 2001, it was like Britney Spears, the biggest star, chugging a Pepsi in an arena with like Beyonce and Pink. The ads were like, if you buy this, you'll be cool. If you buy this, you'll be pretty. If you buy this, girls will want you. If you buy this, you'll be popular. I feel like now it's more about the humble flex, but in 2001, it was not. It was like, wear this. This is what Paris Hilton's wearing. You wear that and you'll be like Paris Hilton. It was real obvious, and companies put less emphasis on what they were doing for society or how they were giving back or how they were helping the environment, because people didn't really care about that. There was less cynicism. There was less hate for corporations, and I'm just saying less, not that there wasn't any. There were definitely hippies back in 2001, but it's just more prevalent now. You can see, if you go back and watch ads from 2001, you can see that there was a difference in then and now. So that's just some context for the time that the movie came out in. Like, consumerism was rampant, greed and materialism and just absolute indulgence was super prevalent. And I hesitate because it's not now, it's just different. We're just indulgent in different ways. When in 2001, it was like, be indulgent to be cool, to be popular, to fit in. And now it's like, be indulgent to show that you're woke, or like, I shop at Lush because I only want handmade products. You know what I mean? It's just a different kind of time. And it's hard to explain, it's hard to put into words. But if you watch Josie and the Pussycats, you can see at the time what I mean by that. So I'm going to do a quick plot overview, because the only people who have seen this movie is like me and my sister and my mom and my friends. That's it. It was a giant flop, which is a general travesty for us all, for society as a whole, because this movie is so important. Okay, quick plot overview. So the movie opens with Du Jour. Du Jour is supposed to be either Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, I forgot, but it starts with like girls screaming, reaching for them, whatever. They do like a music video that's supposed to be a parody of, I forget if it's Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, but it's one of them. It's a parody of one of the music videos, and the voices are obviously like, they're obviously lip syncing on screen. It's a comedy. It's a kind of sarcastic, kind of wink wink kind of movie, and everything that they do is super purposeful. So they get on the plane takes off. On the plane with them is their like manager or record label liaison person. His name is Wyatt. And they're like, hey Wyatt, we're doing a remix of one of our songs and we heard this like weird thing in the music. And he was like, oh yeah, that is weird. Oh, let me go see. So he like goes up to the front of the plane and he goes, put the Chevy to the levee. And the pilot like takes off his thing, and him and Wyatt put on parachutes and jump out of the plane. So you can like see the plane crash with Du Jour on it, like in the background. And Wyatt parachutes and lands right outside of Riverdale. So then we meet Josie and the Pussycats. They're like down on their luck. They're a band. They're like trying to be famous. They're trying to get their name out there. They're performing in bowling alleys and stuff. Played by Rachel Lee Cook, Rosario Dawson, and Tara Reid. Which, the casting. Amazing. Amazing. So the Pussycats run into Wyatt and he signs them to the record label inside of Starbucks. And they're like, isn't it kind of weird that he's signing us without hearing our music or anything? And they're like, oh, no, never mind. Well, we got a record deal, so we'll just forget about that. So they go to New York. The wide shot of New York, they like Photoshop all these billboards onto the building so you can see it from like an aerial view. So they get makeovers, they like record a song, and they start becoming really popular. So meanwhile, we find out that inside of the music, underneath the music, they put subliminal tracks underneath to make you buy stuff. So Mr. Movie Phone is underneath all of the... Do people not know what Mr. Movie Phone is? Mr. Movie Phone was like, you would call a number and there was a recording of a voice like Siri basically, but it was a guy and his name was Mr. Movie Phone, and you'd order a movie. Like, that was it. So he was like a really prevalent voice at the time. So Mr. Movie Phone records stuff that goes underneath pop music, and the record label's in on it, the government's in on it, and basically they're doing it to make teenagers buy whatever they want. So there's like a whole lab like the government's in on, and they're like, Pumas are the new Reebok, pink is the new orange, now you're drinking Pepsi, now you're drinking Gatorade, now you're drinking Zima. They decide what kids buy. So you listen to the music, you get like brainwashed, you hear it, and you're like, you hear Du Jour's song and it tells you to buy Puma, but you don't know why, you just go buy Puma. So it's like explain that teenagers spend their parents' money, and so they're like a really good target market for the subliminal messaging in the music. And Fiona is in charge of the whole lab that does the subliminal messaging. So Josie and Pussycats become really popular because the music tells kids to buy their stuff. So Josie, Val, and Mel don't know that their music has subliminal messaging in it yet, just the audience knows that. So, and Wyatt's in on it, Fiona's in on it, the government's in on it, everybody's in on it. So they become super popular. Their music has subliminal messaging in it, and like some girl like yells like, Josie and the Pussycats is a new du jour. So that's the point. Like they're not being popular because of their music, they're popular because of the subliminal messaging. And like the record label's using Josie and the Pussycats music to sell stuff, whatever they want. Then a bunch of stuff happens in the middle of the movie that I'm going to gloss over. But what happens is Wyatt gives Josie a remix of one of the songs, and the subliminal track on the song tells her to drop Val and Mel, that they're dead weight, and that she should go solo. So she starts being real mean to Mel and Val, who then go to TRL and almost get murdered by Carson Daly, who's also in on the whole conspiracy and stuff. So then they like kind of break up for a second, and then Josie like realizes that she's being brainwashed, and she goes to the studio and she finds out that they're putting subliminal tracks in the songs, and she figures it out. She's like, they're using us to sell stuff, they're using our music to sell us. And then so she goes to confront Wyatt and Fiona about it at their big stadium concert. They're like getting ready to go on stage. They're gonna force Josie to go on stage because everybody's already at the concert. So she like found out too late. So they're gonna force her to go on stage. They say, you have to go or we're gonna kill Mel and Val. So she's like, shit, I'll do anything to save them. I love those girlies. They always said that they would be friends first and a band second. So she's like, of course I'll save you guys. Even though she was just mean to them when she was listening to the subliminal record. So then they're like, they make up. Everybody figures out that there's subliminal messaging going on. And then then Josie gets in a fist fight with Fiona, the record label manager. So during the fight, they end up smashing the machine that records the subliminal messages that go into the music. And it starts playing the subliminal message that was going to go out during the big stadium concert. And it turned out to be that Fiona was telling everybody that she's cool. So Josie's like, that was the message, that you're cool. Like, she just wanted people to like her. So basically the government comes in, they're like, we're shutting this whole thing down. Fiona and Wyatt, you're arrested, whatever. And Fiona's like, what do you mean? Like, you knew that we were doing this. You gave us the okay, you visited the lab. And he was like, yeah, but we were going to shut your whole thing down anyway. And also, subliminal messaging works better in movies. And then on the screen comes up, Josie and the Pussycats is the best movie ever. Join the army. So then Josie and Val and Mel decide to go on stage anyway. It just cuts to the stage and they come on. So now there's no subliminal messaging that will tell people that their songs are good. So she's like, I know you guys came here to listen to something off the album, but I'm going to play something new and I hope you like it. And if you don't, that's fine too. So they start playing, and then Josie's love interest, that is like boring in the movie, says that he loves her during the concert, and then so it's a big happy ending. So the genius of the movie is that in every single shot there's an ad. There's an ad for a brand, like a prominent brand at the time, and they didn't get paid for any of it. Like if I saw a trailer for this movie, I'd be like, ooh, I don't want to, but like that's the point. It's making fun of that. It's not, but they weren't sponsored at all. They just put it in because that's what it seemed like at the time, that there was an ad in every single thing. Like Josie and her boring love interest, they're in an aquarium, they like go into a room, and it's a room and the whole wall is glass looking into the aquarium, and inside of the aquarium there's an Evian sign. Like, it's just genius. So everything's branded. The hotel rooms have a brand, the plane and DeJour's plane has a brand. There's an ad in every single shot. It's amazing. So somebody that you're supposed to track throughout the movie is Josie and the Pussycats' manager. He is always wearing the color. That's like it. So somebody in the movie will be like, orange is a new pink. And then everybody was wearing pink in the last shot. Now they're wearing orange. And then later in the movie, they're wearing blue. So the manager goes with the trends. And then at the end of the movie, he becomes a nudist because he's like, I'm not what I wear. And he realizes like that materialism isn't important. So he really portrays the theme of the movie. I mean, everything in this movie goes with the theme of it. What they're trying to tell you. The point of the movie is that materialism is stupid. There's too much indulgence going on. You don't need to buy clothes to be cool or like fit in. That's stupid. When you buy something to be cool or to look good or to try to fit in, you're not really choosing that thing. Like the corporations that make it, the people who determine what you should buy, so the corporations themselves are deciding what you should wear, what you should do, what you should drink, where you should go. You're not deciding that. So it takes away your freedom of choice when you're trying to fit in, be cool, and just buy what everybody else is buying, because you're not determining that. Somebody else is a corporate overlord is determining that. And this theme, this point of the movie is in every single aspect of it. There's no waste in the movie. They paid attention to every detail, like what the manager's wearing. So you know what's in style. Like he's wearing animal print or something. He's wearing matching things. He's like drinking a Pepsi. He's drinking a Coke. He bought Krispy Kreme. Like there's no waste in the movie. Everything is going towards the point. And every shot, every choice that they make fits with the tone also. So you know it's a comedy, but it's also a little bit cynical. But it's also a little bit of a head nod to what's going on. But it's not in like a judging tone. It's kind of like the whole system is against you. Like MTV's on it, the government's in on it, the record label's in on it. Everything that you're constantly surrounded by is contributing to this. So they do it without a judgmental tone, but they still get their point across really well. Also, just touching on the music a little bit, the music is a really important part of the movie, obviously, because it's central to the plot, but every song is a banger. I have the CD in my car right now that I listen to all the time. It's a CD, a physical CD, the soundtrack. It fucking bops. It's so good. And like the lyrics are kind of suggestive too. So like nothing's that dirty, but the song in the opening that DeJour sings is called Backdoor Lover, which I was singing when I was 7 years old. I didn't need to be doing that. But you don't know what it means, right? Outwardly, if like it's just supposed to be really suggestive. So that also contributes towards like the subliminal messaging. Even though it's not telling you to buy something, it's still like kind of a meaning underneath the music. So yeah, it's a simple story about 3 girls tackling an entire system that record labels and the government are in on, and standing up for individuality and being yourself and having people like you on your own merits, not because of what you wear or what you do or what you buy, but because your music's good or because you're a good person. It's just a genius movie. It has a great point that we should listen to. That's almost more relevant now because ads are more sneaky. Like I said, like somebody you trust is telling you to buy diarrhea pills, but you don't need to buy tea pills to be like a good person or like cute. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't seen it, you should watch it, but it's not gonna be on Netflix or Hulu because it was like a super, I'm not even joking about a super giant flop. Josie and Pussycats is the best movie ever. Join the army.